Welcome to the Lift and Glow Fitness Podcast, the health and fitness podcast for women who want to look great and feel great for good. Whether your goal is to lose weight, build muscle, or you just want to be the healthiest version of yourself, the advice that we share here is going to help you do that by building habits that stick without sucking the fun out of your life. Before we get stuck in today's episode, please make sure to hit subscribe so that you don't miss any future episodes from us. So one thing that we all will probably work with clients on a lot is how to put together a meal. And this sounds like so basic and so simple, but most people don't actually know how to put together a meal that, not just like any meal, but a meal that is going to fill you, that is going to nourish you, that's going to make you feel good. Because I think a lot of people just like minimize it all to, it's about calories, it's about calories, it's about calories. And I'm like, I very much like, I'm against that mindset. Like, it isn't just about calories, it's about nutrition. And to put together a proper meal, there are things that you need in a meal for you to be able to feel good, have good energy, and to not be starving again within a couple of hours. And like, you know, you can have 600 calorie meal and be hungry again shortly after.
If it's like the wrong stuff.
Or you can have a 600 calorie meal and that could last you 4
and it could be
5
full
hours.
of nutrients.
Exactly.
Because I think like I used to be in the mindset of like, you know, a plate of prawns and broccoli was a good meal because it was healthy and it was had my greens and my protein, but I was starving half an hour later. Like, or like people now will think, oh, well, I had, can't think of an example. I had cheese on toast because cheese is protein, which every now and again, but it's not something you want to have like all the time.
It shouldn't be your main protein source though.
Or the amount of times where someone, you're like, you know, what did you have for breakfast? Oh, just had some toast. Toast actually isn't a meal.
No. Or even, do you know what's a misconception I always think is people think like eggs like on their own.
Yeah,
like
is a meal.
Protein, like 2 eggs, 2 boiled eggs for my breakfast, like smash my protein. And like actually,
so
it's not going to keep you full.
Eggs they're not that high.
Well, they are a good source of protein, but you've got to have 3 or 4.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Or like
you can't have one egg.
Or chicken sausages or whatever.
No, you can't just have a boiled egg.
No.
The amount of people who just have a boiled egg for brekkie is like mind blowing. I'm like, how? What? So what I always say is that a meal isn't just, when you look at a meal, there isn't just one thing on your plate. It isn't just one ingredient. In order for it to be a complete meal, we need to touch on a few different things. So we need to have protein, we need to have carbohydrates, we need to have some fats, and we need to have some fruits and veggies, some plants.
Some colour.
And like, so when you're building your plate, when you're building your meal, if it ticks all those boxes, I would say solid meal.
Yeah.
It isn't a boiled egg. It isn't a protein shake. It isn't a piece of
cake.
toast. It isn't a bowl of cereal. You could call it a meal because you're eating something, but it's not a complete meal in my eyes.
It's not a complete nutritious meal, is it?
Yeah.
And it's not going to nourish you.
Exactly. So I think
starving.
Simplifying things to calories and just making it about calories, it makes it harder for people. Because our job is very much about helping people like make the most of their calories. So we want to eat as much food as possible and still get the result that we want. And so it's not about calories, it's about how you feel from that meal. Like
the nourishment you're getting from it.
And how's it going to fill you? How's your energy going to react? So if you just have a bowl of cereal, you'll have this big energy uptake and then a crash. Whereas we need it to be
steady.
Yeah. And for that, we need protein, we need fats, we need fibre.
I think talking about calories, I was laughing to myself then because it's like an ongoing joke between me and one of the members at Lift and Glow. I won't say her name. But in her very first check-in with me, she was like, never really thought about protein, calories, anything like that before. It was all brand new to her. So on a check-in, she was like, yeah, I've had a really, really good week. You know, at the weekend, I really wanted to like indulge a little bit. So I saved up my calories all day on Saturday and I smashed this full bar of pretzel milk chocolate bar from Asda.
I know who it is.
And it was only like 780 calories or something. So, you know, it wasn't too high of it, but she had that for her tea. So I messaged her back and was like, you know, maybe not, but anyway, we'll laugh about it. And she bought me the same bar of chocolate for Christmas.
She brought it in when she brought it into my class and said, this is for Sammy, and she explained the story behind it.
But that's what it's like, isn't it? Like you're saying, like people fixate on calories. Like, so like to her, that was completely normal. And I get why. Like, well, I saved my calories, so I'm going to have that in a chocolate bar. But I said to her, weren't you starving? She's like, yeah, I couldn't wait to eat my breakfast the following day. Whereas if she'd had that on fajitas or, I don't know, a sausage pasta or whatever, like you would have felt so much more full.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it, isn't it? And I definitely used to do that as well. I'd be like, well, I'm having I'm eating, I'm having these calories, but I'd skip a meal and have chocolate instead.
Yeah.
And I know that, you know, a calorie deficit, if your goal is weight loss, a calorie deficit is vital, but we can't simplify it to that
No.
because you're going to make your calorie deficit really difficult if you don't fuel yourself with the right stuff. We need to stay as full and energized as possible.
But you're going to minimise snacking then, aren't you? You're not going to have your cravings as much, but snacking's massive. You can be brilliant all day and then after tea, you're still not satisfied, so you're in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And snacking is one of the biggest issues when it comes to annihilating your deficit.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. So like you might have a 1,700 calorie target, but within that 1,700 calories, you've thought nothing about fibre, you've thought nothing about fats and nothing about protein. And so you might have 1,700 calories and still be absolutely starving. And so you're looking for snacks and that takes you over your calories. Someone else can have 1,700 calories in 3 meals and feel full. A lot of the girls can't hit their calories.
I was going to say, I posted something the other day that I'd had like a sausage bake, like I just had loads of stuff in the fridge. I thought just chuck it all in the oven and like this bake thing, like sausages, loads of veg in it, eggs, all kinds in it. And someone messaged me and said, is that for 2 people? And I was like, no, I made 2 of them. That was mine. And I was like, no, like I maximize what I can get. Like I'll get to the end of the day and I'm not hungry.
Yeah, but that's how we should
took me years to get to the point where I know how much I need as well.
I fully believe that weight loss is more about managing hunger than like the actual like calories
itself.
You know what I mean? Like I just think that more focus needs to be on how am I going to feel. Like I know I've said this like 3 times already, but
it's true,
more focus it should be on like your energy and your fullness.
Yeah.
And then that makes it easier.
Like I used to have like a bowl of cereal for breakfast and I'd go into work or uni, whatever stage of life it was. And by like 10:30, I was like falling asleep because I wasn't energized. Like I was hungry, I was lethargic. Like I had no go in me. Whereas if you've had like an omelette or fruit and yogurt and granola or, you know, something more with sustenance in it, like you feel, it lasts to lunchtime and you feel like buzzing. And you're more proactive, you're more productive in work or with your family, whatever
it is. You're not getting the energy crashes or the cravings.
I used to find as well, if I skip meals, all I think about was eating. Like, I'd be like working, but I'd be thinking, I'm starving. I'm absolutely starving. I can't concentrate.
I haven't had a proper breakfast today and I can't stop thinking about how hungry I am. But it's my own fault. I've had no vegetables today, guys, or no fruit.
I've had a big omelette.
I think when you're making a meal, try and think, how is this going to make me feel?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I like to think, does this have all of the things that I need in a complete meal? So like I said before, protein, carbs, fats, and then fruit, your plants. Does it have all of those things? If so, yes. How is this going to make me feel? Well, it's going to make me feel good. It's got all of those things in. Am I going to feel hungry again in an hour? So if you put a salad in front of me, the question, am I going to feel hungry again in an hour?
Probably,
is yes. Same if you put a soup in front of me, especially if it's got no protein. I fucking love soup, but if it's got no protein in, I'm not going to feel full.
Or I love a little soup and a sandwich.
Yeah, soup and a sandwich is the one.
Yeah.
So, you know, think about it. If you're going to be like, oh, well, this meal is only 250 calories, which means that I'm going to be in a really big calorie deficit.
I can eat loads of chocolate later.
Yeah, actually, you're going to be, yes, you'll be in a calorie deficit because that meal is low, but you're going to be starving again. Yeah. And it's actually harder for you to stay in the calorie deficit. Yeah. I always recommend to clients that your meals should be big. So if you have, we've all seen
my meals
this.
Are massive.
Yeah, but we've all seen this, if you give someone a calorie target and then they'll have a 200 calorie breakfast, a 300 calorie lunch, a 300 calorie dinner, and then 700 calories on snacks. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, we've got this all backwards. You've restricted yourself in your meals to allow yourself all those snacks. So you're always hungry. You never feel full. Your energy isn't being managed well. You're making it harder for yourself. Whereas if you have split your calorie target, like I always like to say, if you do like a snack, take 200 calories off your target.
Yeah, factor it in at the beginning of the day. Yeah. So you know that's got to be saved to one side.
Yeah, and if you target 1,700, once you've took those 200 away, it leaves you 500 for every meal.
You can get you can get decent meals.
You'd feel full. Yeah. You'd feel good. Or maybe it's 400 for your breakfast, 600 for your dinner, and 500 for your lunch. Like, you would feel good.
My tea's always like higher, I think.
My breakfast is always comes in around 400 calories because I have the same thing. So I know that I know I eat the same things. So I sort of know where I'm going to land with
breakfast is always always a place that people slip up, I think, is
I
because they
enjoy
always
it as
have a
well.
really small, I think initially when you get a client, they're like, oh, I've just had a protein shake for breakfast.
Or I
I'm
don't
like,
eat breakfast.
Yeah, or don't have
Or
it.
like I'll say like, you know, try substituting like your low fat yogurt for a Greek not a Greek style yogurt, an actual Greek yogurt. You can get, like, and they'll go, well, I had like 50 grams. It'll be like,
no, 150.
more.
Yeah, 150. And if you still, if that for some people, 200.
Yeah.
Like 150 is the absolute minimum I would have.
Yeah.
Do you know, like, with some granola and some berries and that, because if you want to be getting a decent amount of protein, you have to eat a decent amount of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to putting meals together, one thing that I use a lot, which you've heard of, is the 5-3-1 method.
Oh yeah.
So it's 5 fruit and veg a day, and they can be split over your 3 meals or into your snacks as well. 3 meals a day. Those 3 meals, though, have got to be at least 100 grams of not 100 grams of protein in each meal. Imagine.
Across. I know, imagine that.
At least 30 grams of protein in each meal. And 2 plants in those meals, and each of those meals has some carbohydrates and some fats.
Yeah.
So, like, in your meal, you've got your protein. I think building around protein changes it for everyone.
I always factor my protein in. Once I know I've hit that, I go back then, put my fruit and veg in, because that's my second one.
Yeah.
And then whatever I've got left, carbs and fats.
Yeah. And like one thing that like people that I'd ask is like, what are you having for dinner? Like, oh, I'm having pasta. No, hang on a minute. You're not having pasta. What are you having? As in, like, where's the protein?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to have chicken. Okay, it's chicken
So
with
what are you
some
gonna have with
pasta.
it? Yeah.
It's not pasta.
But then
it's
that's
like,
a
so it's not jack of potato.
Yeah.
It's steak and or you know what
That's
I mean?
your side,
like,
isn't
that's
it?
your side.
Yeah.
Your carbs. You know, a lot of us are in the routine of building a meal around carbohydrates, but we need to build it around protein.
Yeah.
That needs to be like the main,
the vital part.
The main character of your meal.
Yeah. And one thing people are generally surprised about when they come to work, like, well, I think we all work in the same way, is that I don't give a carbs target.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's
I don't.
Just calories and protein.
Yeah, or a fat target.
It doesn't matter whether you go higher carb or higher fat.
No.
It doesn't matter. It's personal preference. I always tend to lean towards higher carb.
Yeah.
Not on purpose, just because that's clearly what I enjoy eating.
Yeah.
I like pasta and I like carbs, but there's nothing wrong with carbs.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with fat either.
No. We've just been misled completely.
Well, do you remember it was no carbs before marbs?
Yeah.
So all the like
no pizza before.
it was like all of that stuff, wasn't it? And like the whole thing around bread and bagels even and stuff like that. And it's like,
when
enjoy
people are scared,
your carbs.
Yeah,
like,
people are scared of eating bread, and I'm having 2 sandwiches a day these days. I'm like, it's the most easy, convenient thing to eat. Like, it's,
I love bread.
And also bread has protein in.
But when I did my little shop video the other day, someone was like, "Oh, I see you've got bread rolls and bread." I was like, "Yeah, I eat sandwiches.
I have a sandwich every freaking day."
Yeah, I have sandwich, or I'll have a bagel or whatever.
People are
I have
like, you eat a
pasta, I have,
sandwich.
like,
I'm like,
But even like, so for example, if we were going to make a complete meal out of a sandwich, it's like, how do you do that? So a lot of people, I always take it back to when I lived with my mum. My mum would always, a tin of tuna was for 2 sandwiches.
Yeah.
So whereas that isn't enough protein.
One
so
tin.
It's making sure you've got enough protein on your sandwich. So that's your protein. So it's chicken, turkey, ham. It's not 1 slice of ham. It's like half a packet of ham. Maybe it's a full packet of turkey. Depends how much you need. Maybe it's a bit of ham and a bit of turkey and a bit of cheese.
Bit of cheese,
But make like a actual hefty sandwich. Don't just put a thin layer of
salad
tuna
on.
on. Or like a thin layer of cheese or 1 slice of ham. Like stack it up with protein. Yeah. And then put salad on as well. Make it like a nice chunky filling sandwich. And then that would be more of a complete meal than just having a cheese slice on a roll.
Oh God,
I'm starving.
I've got a bagel.
I am absolutely
I know, it's just, I've just got a little pan.
This big sandwich in my head.
I'm literally thinking I need a sandwich.
Yeah.
I'm on a bagel obsession at the moment.
Yes, I love a bagel.
Flying through bagels.
Wrap bagels and sandwiches are just literally what I use. Because when I'm working at home, I don't want to cook for my lunch because I'm cooking every day. So
it's not salad season.
It's not salad
See,
season.
I do love that, but my salads are like, I get like a pasta bowl and I'll like, the bottom will be like all the lettuce and that. And then there's like pasta salad. There's like, I'll put all kinds like.
I just feel like it's too cold at the moment.
No, it is at the moment, but I'm looking forward to getting
salad
season.
But like, I always remember clients saying to me, I couldn't eat all that. And I was like, I can. I
can eat
But
more.
they say they couldn't eat all that.
Yeah.
But they're
'Cause my salads are
they
big.
probably are eating more calories overall because they might eat small
They're
meals,
snacking
but
more.
they'll make up for the calories elsewhere,
Yeah.
whether it's wine, chocolate, biscuits,
Yeah.
coffees, whatever it is.
Or like what I was thinking before when you said about like people being scared of carbs and stuff, like people won't eat potatoes, breads, pasta, but they'll eat a pack of digestives.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
where's the logic?
It's
isn't it?
actual
It's
madness.
madness.
Yeah. Like I'm just gonna have a protein shake for my breakfast, a salad for me lunch, and then like soup for me tea, and then
Going to be absolutely ravenous.
Yeah.
But they don't see chocolate, wine, and all of that as carbs
Yeah.
when it is.
Yeah.
It is
Madness.
I like to, so obviously tracking food is like the best way to see what's in your meals. But if you don't want to track food, I always talk about using your hand as like a guideline. So like if you open hand, that should be like the size of your portion of protein.
Yeah.
Closed fist, portion of carbs. So this is where most people go wrong.
Or portion of pasta.
I know, but when it's dry, 75 grams is
It's
about
about
your
that,
fist. It looks small. Once you cook it, it does expand.
Yeah.
Whereas most people are having a big, massive
hands.
thing, or they're having like loads. They're overdoing the carbs and underdoing the protein.
Yeah.
So that's one thing when I'm looking at food diaries, they might have 150 grams of dry pasta, and I'm like, can we make that 75? And then let's have the full chicken breast instead of just half.
Decrease and increase. Kind of thing,
So like,
what can you swap?
we're
And
still,
weigh it. Like if you're not
make sure
willing
that
to,
you're
I
on
mean,
it.
even if you're not tracking, you could technically still weigh it out, couldn't you, if you wanted to?
Yeah.
But if you want, or use that one. But
Yeah.
I usually aim for about 85 grams of pasta.
Yeah.
And when you do look at it dry, you're like,
It looks sad. It really does look sad. But when you're
But
eating it,
by
and
the
then you
time
put
you've mixed
veg
everything,
in,
you
like, oh my
mix
God,
everything, your
loads.
sauce, you mix
Yeah.
your chicken through, or whatever
Exactly.
you're using, you make sure you're packing out with veg as
Well, I
well.
think this is
you get
the
a
next-
decent bowl of pasta,
But
don't
this
you?
is the next thing that I was going to say is if you look at 75 grams of pasta on its own, it looks pretty sad. But once you've added your full chicken breast or your full tin of tuna, and then also the next thing, so you've got your palm of pasta, your palm of protein, your fistful of carbs, and then you've got 2 big handfuls of plants. So if you've added peas, mushrooms, spinach, onion,
just pat it all
bulks out that
Yeah.
pasta.
I think that with
and
a stir
meal.
fry. Like I look at
Stir
stir fry stuff and think, oh, it's going to be nothing. Me and Pete are always like, oh my God, that portion's
too
massive.
much
But
of
it's
Yeah.
for 2 people, like from Aldi
Yeah.
or wherever,
Yeah.
you get your bag of noodles and that, but it's loads because it's all the veggies that are in
It's
it.
because it bulks it out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So our stomachs don't know calories; they know food volume. So if we give our body a McDonald's, for example, it might be 1,500 calories, but we're starving again
Ravenous
because the
again.
food volume's small.
Yeah.
Whereas if we ate a plate, which was 700 calories
Pasta
and it
bake or
was
something.
massive and it was full, it was pasta with veg, with protein, it keeps you more full because you've got more, there's more volume.
Yeah.
So like bulk out your meals. So I would say like, think about your don't ban carbs. They're not bad. We all need them. But think about your portion sizes. Maybe reduce them slightly and swap it out with
Yeah.
protein. Add more plants. And then fats, because I missed out fats, is like your thumb. So it's a small amount. A small amount of fats. Which is another place that we go wrong. I had a client once whose mum cooked her all of her meals and she made these absolutely stunning meals, but she added butter by the tablespoon to every recipe.
Oof.
Stunning.
Yeah.
Stunning. But it's
not
an
for every day.
indulgence.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like your like indulgent
It's way
meal.
more than she's factored in, isn't it?
So like, so your fats. So like when you get to butter in your bread, we're not meant to be using like a big, like that's a big one.
Yeah.
Everyone, if someone
peanut
puts in
butter
their
and stuff like that
peanut
as
butter.
well.
If someone
lovely
puts in their food diary
5
5 grams of butter, I'm like, you're lying, love.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
worth having for 5 grams.
No, but it's
It's
not
literally
just
like a
that.
flick.
It's not just that. It's that I know you haven't weighed it because you've just chose what's on MyFitnessPal because it says 5 grams.
Yeah.
And do you actually know 5 grams can't go onto 2 crumpets or
Yeah.
onto 2 pieces of bread?
It
Or
just
if it
wouldn't go
has,
that
it's
far.
just like a really sad
in the corner of
amount.
each.
So be honest, like with your portion sizes.
It's things like mayo and that as well.
Mayo.
It's
Everyone
like-
puts 15 grams. I'm
No,
like,
it's better.
is
than-
it?
So I got
wanna
out of
see
the
odd
habit of
numbers.
Yeah.
I got out of the habit of weighing like stuff like that, and I was just eyeballing it.
Yeah.
And the first time I weighed it again was only a few
Yeah.
weeks ago, and I was
Shocker.
like, and I thought this is what I've been tracking it as. I've been tracking it as like 20 grams, I think, and I thought I was being generous. It was 35.
Yeah.
So it was
What, on your
basic.
mayo?
Yeah. And it was just just a blob like that, but it was clearly a much bigger blob than I
Than
thought.
what you thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in terms, if you've got if you're trying to be in a calorie deficit and you have got a fat loss goal, that's going to eat in, isn't it?
It takes up calories, doesn't it?
And if you're doing that with everything, if you're misjudging everything, if there's a little bit here
your
and
butter,
there,
your mayo,
do you know what
your
something
pasta,
adds up.
It's all going to
500 calories easy, isn't it?
Milks, all of that, sugars.
Or like when people put like a quarter of an avocado. Yeah, but what size avocado have you got? Like, there's extra large, there's large,
what's the
small.
point anyway?
Yeah.
I
love avocado.
I'm a half or full avocado.
I'm a half or a full.
And you know what though? Like, obviously avocado is a fat, but I would say that's the only one that I do not stick to the rule.
No,
of.
you couldn't. Oh God, imagine.
No.
Because it's full of fat. It's actually a fruit.
It's a plant,
fat.
isn't it?
It's that's actually one of me big handfuls of plants.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
full avocado.
like I used to eat, like, how funny is this? When I worked in the office, this is me thinking that I was being healthy. Every morning I used to go to Phil Potts and I used to get their toast, which was smothered in butter, and I'd have a full avocado on 2 pieces of toast for me brekkie.
Sounds amazingly.
No, it was
gorgeous.
Unreal. But I couldn't figure out why I wasn't like losing weight or why
you felt hungry after it as well.
So that was quite a lot of calories, but no protein or anything.
Yeah.
And then I'd be hungry again mid-afternoon. I'd be having maybe like a bowl of porridge. It was literally double of breakfast.
Snacks. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, to change that, it would be better if I had eggs and bacon, half of an avocado, maybe one piece of bread instead of, doubling up, and no butter.
Yeah.
Because I've got my fat from the avocado.
Yeah, you don't need
it, do you? You don't need
butter and avo. No.
It's nice. It's a nice mix, don't get me wrong, but you don't need it.
No.
It's not essential.
Not a requirement.
Yeah. So yeah, anything else that we would add to building a meal?
Make sure you enjoy it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do I actually like this food?
Yeah, that is a good one.
Well, I've got a new girl she starts on Monday, but she messaged me saying, when I put something up about something I'd had, and she went, "Oh, I'm so glad you're not just going to have me on plain chicken and broccoli." And I said, "Well, not
what
unless
life is that?"
I don't really want you to be miserable, to be honest with you, but it's like, no, you've got to enjoy the food. Like, I'm a creature of habit, so I have the same things all the time, not for any other reason than I found stuff I enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, I really enjoy what I eat. I look forward to my meals. The minute I don't, I'll pick something else.
Change it, yeah.
I used to force feed myself like chicken on a bed of spinach or chicken with broccoli. And I used to gag on food. Like, I literally used to gag on it.
Oh,
I'd be
really?
like, yeah, I think
it's not what I want.
What kind of life is this?
I know.
Where you're not enjoying what you're eating. Like, I think your meals each day is one of your like daily pleasures. It's something.
You can
it's a part
flavour
of your
your
day.
season your food, like,
But it's a part of your
Yeah.
day that you should really enjoy.
Food's for enjoyment.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be, and you don't have to eat stuff that you don't like. So I don't like porridge. Don't fucking eat porridge then.
Yeah.
I don't
Or
like porridge and I
like-
don't eat it.
Yeah, or I don't like eggs. Okay, let's find another way for you to get protein in. I don't like yogurt. That's fine. What can we
Yeah.
have? It's not. You need to build meals. If you're going to be consistent, if you're going to get results, you're going to get results that last.
You've got to
need
enjoy it.
consistency. And in order to be consistent, you've got to enjoy it. You cannot be snarling every single meal.
Yeah.
And I think that
Like dreading
people
it.
definitely miss
Yeah.
that. Definitely miss out on that.
Yeah.
Like, they're eating these low calorie ready meals, or they're having salads with no dressing, or they're
Yeah.
just eating plain stuff. But a lot of it, like, it's really frustrating for us because a lot of people might have got a meal plan from someone else, or maybe they've worked with another coach and they've gave them plain chicken.
Chicken, brown rice,
Like the bodybuilding
broccoli.
style.
That bodybuilding thing, chicken,
But
rice,
even that's
broccoli.
such an old school thing now, isn't it?
Still
Like,
happens though. You
Yeah,
still see
it
it.
It's just ridiculous,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And like that, no wonder women are yo-yoing, and no wonder women are feeling stuck because they diet, lose weight and regain it. It's because you can't sustain something that you're really not enjoying.
No.
As soon as something difficult happens in life or busy, you're going to go revert back to what you need, the comfort from the food.
But it's like when people do shake diets, I just think
Oh God, yeah.
there's absolutely zero point in that, because unless you're planning to do that for the rest of your life,
It's not
at
sustainable.
some point,
Yeah.
you're just going to go back to eating normally and you've learnt nothing.
It's the same with cutting
You've not
carbs.
learnt
Like,
anything.
we all ask this question all the time:
Oh.
is, can you imagine your life for the rest of
No.
your life without carbs? And they're like, oh no, I'm
garlic
just
bread.
going to do it until I've lost weight. And I'm like, well, we're not doing it then.
No.
Like, you are going to make sure that
Yeah.
and like, there's
You want to enjoy the process, don't you? You don't want to be like miserable doing it and
No.
find it like just like dread every minute of every day because you're miserable doing it. Like,
You don't have to be. Like,
No.
I think people assume there's a bit of misery involved in
No.
like weight loss, and like,
definitely not.
if anything,
if you
like,
do it
it's not.
properly, it should make you feel good.
I was
I
gonna say, yeah, you
actually-
actually enjoy life more.
I
Yeah.
actually find when I am focused like that, and
You get a buzz.
I do, but I also make the most of my nutrition more so than when I'm just coasting along.
Yeah.
It makes, because I think
Makes you be more intentional.
yeah,
with what you're
and
eating.
because I'm like planning and I'm prepping and stuff, I'm like, oh, I can get a bit more in that, or I can get a bit more of that, and like, or we've still got room to have something, after me tea if I want it or whatever. But
it's we definitely need to enjoy it. There's a huge misconception that if you want to lose weight, you have to suck the fun out of life, and we're all huge on like not doing that. If you love a sandwich every day, let's
have a sandwich.
Make that sandwich a bit more high in protein and crack on. If you even if you like chocolate, one daily indulgence, a little 200-calorie bit of chocolate every day.
Not gonna.
The average chocolate bar is 200 calories or less.
Yeah,
isn't it? Like you don't need to be getting a skinny whip. Like that just tastes of
I like
air.
it with blue ribbon or like a Rocky toffee cup of tea or something. Or like,
I mean, I still am a curly whirly fan. I will.
I
haven't had one in ages, though.
I like a Freddo.
Do you know what else I really like? And it's another controversial. I'm made up though because Jed doesn't like them. Wagon wheels.
Oh, rockin' me, mama, like a wagon
I love a wagon wheel, but Jed doesn't like them, so if I buy them, I know he's not going to eat them all.
Wagon wheels are a major flashback.
I've not had one of them in years.
I've
Blast from the past.
I'll bring you one.
Yeah, so I think to build a proper meal, building a proper meal, make sure you've got all of those parts in it, protein, carbs, fats, plants, so that you're hitting all of those things, so that you're going to have good energy, so that you're going to stay full, so that you perform well in day-to-day life and your workouts. When you're looking at the meal, ask yourself, like, how's this going to make me feel?
Is it what I need as well?
Is it what my body needs? Or is it like, am I just being...
fancy it.
Yeah. And then also... is it something that I'm going to enjoy eating? And if it's not, change it.
Because you're not going to feel satisfied after it. You might feel full, but full and satiated are two different things, aren't they? So you can feel full and still be like, there's something there's an itch I've not scratched, sort of thing.
Exactly.
That's when you're back in the cupboard.
It's got to be tasty. No plain shit, no cutting carbs, no banning anything that you love. It's all about finding a balance. And like when it comes to building a meal, it's about including more things, not cutting stuff out. It's about adding,
get more plants in, get more protein in.
Yeah, more plants, more protein. Balance those carbs and fats a little bit better, and you'll feel better. It won't feel restrictive because you'll feel better. And it, you're still enjoying it, and it'll get you the results that you want.
It will.
Win-win.